Remove him from my flight. The woman's voice sliced through the quiet cabin. I paid for privacy. I won't spend 6 hours sitting near someone who clearly doesn't belong in first class. 2 security guards stepped into the aisle. Passengers looked away. A few secretly raised their phones. The single father tightened his grip on his little daughter's hand. We have valid boarding passes, he said calmly. I understand, one guard replied quietly, but the CEO insists. His daughter looked up with frightened eyes. Daddy, did we do something wrong? He forced a smile. No, sweetheart, we didn't. Nobody on that plane knew the quiet man holding his daughter's hand had once saved a life that would soon change everything. Daniel Carter hadn't always traveled. Most days he worked as an aircraft maintenance instructor at a small aviation academy. It wasn't glamorous. His clothes were simple. His shoes were worn. Every extra dollar went toward raising his 8-year-old daughter, Lily, after losing his wife 3 years earlier. Lily had recently won a national science competition. The prize included 2 first-class tickets to California, where she would receive an award. Daniel didn't care about luxury. He only cared that Lily would finally smile again after months of sadness. Before boarding, he reminded her gently, always treat people with respect. You never know what they're carrying. She nodded. Daniel lived by those words. Years ago, while serving as an Air Force rescue mechanic, he had risked everything during an emergency landing to pull an unconscious pilot from a burning cockpit. He never talked about it. To him, it was simply the right thing to do. That quiet act had become a forgotten memory, or so he believed. The moment the elegant CEO entered first class, the atmosphere changed. Designer suit, luxury handbag, confident smile. Everyone recognized Evelyn Brooks, founder of a billion-dollar technology company. Flight attendants welcomed her warmly. She stopped beside Daniel's seat. Her smile disappeared. You must be mistaken. The flight attendant checked the boarding passes. No, ma'am, these are their assigned seats. Evelyn frowned. This section is for executives, investors, and premium travelers. Daniel answered politely. My daughter earned these tickets. She barely looked at Lily. I don't believe that. Several passengers exchanged uncomfortable glances. Lily quietly hugged her backpack. Daniel leaned closer. It's okay. But Evelyn wasn't finished. She called for airport security. I don't want this man sitting beside me. One passenger finally spoke. They have every right to be here. Evelyn turned sharply. I spend millions with this airline every year. The cabin fell silent. Money often speaks louder than kindness. The guards approached. Sir, would you come with us? Daniel stood without arguing. I don't want my daughter frightened. Lily's voice trembled. But Daddy, we didn't break any rules. He knelt beside her. No, sweetheart. Sometimes people judge what they see instead of who you are. Those words reached more ears than he realized. Even one of the flight attendants looked embarrassed. As Daniel picked up their bags, the cockpit door opened. The captain had been informed about the disturbance. Behind him stood the co-pilot. He froze, his eyes locked on Daniel. For several long seconds, he couldn't speak. Finally, the co-pilot whispered, "It can't be." Daniel looked confused. "I'm sorry. Have we met?" The pilot stepped into the aisle. His hands began shaking. "You don't remember me, but I'll never forget you." The entire cabin became silent. 20 years earlier, a military transport aircraft had caught fire during an emergency landing. The young co-pilot had been trapped inside. Everyone thought the cockpit would explode. Except one rescue mechanic. Daniel, ignoring direct orders to stay back, he climbed into the burning aircraft. He smashed open the damaged cockpit door, dragged the unconscious pilot outside. Seconds later, the aircraft exploded. The co-pilot looked at Daniel with tears in his eyes. You saved my life. I've searched for you for years. Daniel smiled softly. I was just doing my job. No. The pilot shook his head. You gave me my future. He turned toward the captain. This man is the reason I'm standing here today. The captain immediately walked over. He extended his hand. Sir, it's an honor to meet you. Passengers stared in disbelief. Phones that had recorded humiliation were now recording something very different. Then came the moment nobody expected. The captain faced the security guards. Please return to your positions. They are not leaving this aircraft. He then turned toward Evelyn. Ma'am, every passenger who holds a valid boarding pass deserves equal respect. If anyone has disrupted this flight, he paused. It wasn't Mr. Carter. The cabin erupted into quiet applause. Lily smiled for the first time that day. The co-pilot knelt beside her. Your father is a hero. You should be very proud. She nodded with tears in her eyes. I already am. Evelyn's confidence disappeared. She looked around. Nobody defended her anymore. The flight attendants politely informed her that abusive behavior toward other passengers violated airline policy. She was offered two choices: remain respectful or leave the aircraft. For the first time all morning, she had nothing to say. She quietly returned to her seat. Not because someone embarrassed her, but because the truth had. During the flight, something unexpected happened. Evelyn slowly walked over to Daniel. She hesitated before speaking. "I owe you an apology. I judged you by your clothes. I never asked your story." Daniel looked at Lily before answering. "We all make mistakes. The important part is deciding who we become afterward." She nodded. It wasn't a dramatic speech, no revenge, no celebration, just quiet dignity. Later, the captain invited Lily into the cockpit after landing. She sat in the pilot's seat, smiling from ear to ear. The co-pilot handed her a small set of pilot wings. "Keep these. Heroes inspire heroes." Daniel watched proudly from the doorway. His greatest achievement had never been saving an airplane. It had always been raising a daughter who still believed kindness mattered. People often believe greatness wears expensive clothes, carries important titles, or sits in first class, but true character reveals itself in moments when no one is watching. Daniel never asked for recognition. He simply chose kindness when it was hardest, and in the end, kindness remembered his name.